Well, it's time for another. It's time for another round of Oakhouse Racing Xfinity Series here on MotorMouth Broadcasting. Hi, everybody, and for you and O'Leary, I'm Jeremy Scott. Great to be here with Dean Biggles alongside pushing the knobs, turning the sliders. Last time out, Logan Gill won by just a hair over Todd Swanson and Ryan Wade to claim another win at Talladega. And, of course, it gives him a bigger pad in the championship standings as well. Will we see more of that here tonight? Well, it's time to find out at Nashville Superspeedway, one of two racetracks in Tennessee in the same Nashville market. Of course, as you know, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, home of some of the great race, including the All-American 400. But here, it's time to look at the grid. Kevin Nerat and Dawson Guzik round out row one. As you take a look at row two, as they start to roll off, it's Brad Compton and Chasen McCook. Compton in the 6th, McCook in the 14th. Off to row three, Jay Trocchi and Zach Baker round out that row. And as you go back to row four, it's Todd Slauson who's trying to make his, Zach Baker and Ryan Wayne. Row 5, Logan Gill and Brandon Biggs round out your top 10. We go further back, you got Wesley Beasley and Joshua Wise. Over to row 7, it's John Edwards and Frank Ranger in the 14th spot. Running 15th and 16th are Andrew Floyd and Michael Cole. Then you got to go back to row 7. That's row 9 for James Birds and Kenneth Bohm in the 022 Alltel colors. That rounds out your field as we'll see 155 laps of racing. The pace truck is off. It's Nerak and Guzik on the front row.
Green's out.
It's set for 155 laps of racing here at Nashville. Green flag is out, and we're still looking pretty good so far. Nobody's trying to get an advantage early on as Nerat dives to the inside, and he got the meets. And he's got the lead so far. Dawson Guzik decides to stay a little high here. Now remember, this is a concrete racetrack, so it'll race just a little bit differently the deeper we get into the night. Of course, track temperature and ambient temperature both the same at about 72 degrees. So great to see that. No wind and clear skies as we're running just outside of Nashville. Battle for second heats up between Compton and Guzik. Guzik falls back just a little bit, but Guzik's going to get the nose out front early on. And they go side by side through turns 1 and 2. Of course, that inside line working good for Compton as he's able to hold on. You're on board with Nerat, who's comfortably in the lead right now. Of course, Nerat sitting 4th in points as work our way around. And boom, already out of the race. So we started with 18, now we're taking 17 around the circuit.
Yeah, it didn't look like Kenneth got starting, unfortunately. So once again, go down to the 17 drivers. Welcome, everybody. Don't be too shy to say g'day in the chat. We usually got some supporters out there this evening. But Logan Gill up 2 places as well. I tell you, usually we'll make his moves there for the number 12 Ford. But no changes in the top 6.
God, they get SVG in the NASCAR, then all the Aussies are starting to, of course, then you got my buddy Lee over there who's calling the races. Anyway, no, great to have you here with us, Dean. But either way, you got that battle there. It looks like we're going to go 3 wide here for 5th place with Trocchi, Slauson, and Gill. But a couple great battles here in the top 10 already early on.
Yeah, McCook's going to be watching this between Compton and Guzik together, see how they're going to be sorting themselves out, as you said. So this track evolving. Of course, it's still early days. We don't have stage breaks in this series, and they don't have any fast repairs tonight as well, Jeremy. So you crash, you're on the damage clock.
Now, we call that big boy racing, one of the other short track series I do. So, yeah, wrong. And, of course, the difference between this track and Talladega last weekend, obviously you have the expansiveness of Alabama, but however, you see Compton sitting there trying to hold off Guzik once again as Guzik gets a nice little dive through 3 and 4. You actually have to drive this track, unlike Talladega where, yeah, you got to stop and steer, but this one you actually have to use the throttle and really slow yourself down.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I still don't have to turn right, so not too bad.
No. Yeah, I know. I mean, but fine, whatever. But still, here's the thing. It's there's a turn right there. As Guzik goes right into the wall. Our first caution is underway, and that was interesting to see there.
You'd think they'd allow a little bit more of the space together, weren't they? Fighting for their position early in this race. We'll go back and have a look.
I was going to say, that was interesting to see. Let's watch the replay as just two guys trying to fight for the same position. And I'm not sure. Probably sounds. Oh, that was actually started off.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Compton hit the wall, but at the same time, it looked like the Guzik came up high. And of course, Guzik into the pits for some sort of repairs, though. That may be the end of his race. We'll see how long it takes him to get the repairs.
Yeah, have a look at this. There'll be a bounce off, bang there, and it only takes that little bit. Brings Compton straight into Guzik, and that's the reason why both these cars going around. I think a few of the other drivers just managed to avoid everything, I'm not mistaken. Quite luckily.
Well, I saw Traki almost get clipped there. I'm not sure who almost clipped him, but let's see one more replay. And the fact that's happened at the front and all the drivers are able to just have some situational awareness and get away from there without any other calamity is absolutely massive. Oh, yeah. Well, see Traki just opposite luck as he's trying to avoid Dawson Guzik. And Guzik is out of the pits. Compton and Cole into the pits right now. But that was some good saving right there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good job there for the rest of the field. It could have been a two-car collision that turned into a three-car collision pretty quickly, but thankfully not. Gozak did get down to pit road there for about 30 seconds stationary. Michael Cole's gone down now into the pit road, and Compton is in pit road as well too on the damage clock, hiding behind the pit ball there. There he is, hiding there somewhere. So
I think Guzik's back into the pits for some sort of repair.
come back in again. So maybe sometimes accidentally might have forgot to click on something to do with repairs, you know what I mean? Sometimes they, and pit crew, you didn't fix my car properly, mate. Come back down again.
What are you guys thinking? What do I pay you? You don't pay us at all. Okay. Nerat, McCook, Slauson, Gill, and Draki, your top five so far. Again, out of the race is Ken Boehm. Didn't even run a lap yet, but we're already working lap number 8 as the pace truck is out for this race. Of course, we saw they're pairing up right now to get ready for the restart, which should be coming here in the next couple of laps. But Dean, I got to say, we've seen some good racing so far in spite of a lot of single file racing. In the top 10, we had two pretty good races.
Yeah, so far, no changes for the lead. A couple of switcheroos currently at the moment, and you can see those repaired pit stops as well too. But lap leaders has been all Kevy so far in this race, so shuffling for another positions. Go Logan Gill. Well, Logan Gill currently up the moment because of those two front runners that we saw the incident with. Logan Gill is hovering around that P3, P4 position. So our championship leader currently at the moment moving his way to the front row.
We'll see how long it takes Gill to get up to the front as the lights are out on the pace truck. Coming off turn 2. So Gill will start off in row 2. Will be Nerat and McCook on the front row. The 487 and the 14 up front. It'll be interesting to see if Gill can take that number 12 up to the front. You see your biggest movers right there. Gill, one of them. And James Burns right now in 13th. He's up 4 with John Edwards as well. Wesley Beasley and Todd Slauson round out your 5 drivers who are running there for the biggest mover of the race. Of course, it comes from the grid spots. As pace truck will pull off once again, we'll get our first side-by-side restart. Nerat has the call, gets into the restart zone here in just a little bit, and he'll get on the loud pedal. Green flag is back underway, and still a lot of great cars trying to go around the outside, see what they can do early on here. And now you see McCook with the nose out front. How long will that last? Well, Nerat makes him pay for it. He tries to slide him up just a little bit off of 1 and 2.
He gets a nice push. He gets himself some laps led, actually. Remember, his points also enabled for the drivers to get the most. But look at that. Logan Gill already says, okay, I'm coming up the front. He knows how to be up the front. He knows how to drive at the front. He's also very dangerous if he gets away, too, from the rest of the field. At the moment, he's got to get past McCook.
I was going to say, I think McCook knows that because he's playing the defensive line coming across turn number 1, and Gill's just going to hang there for a little bit, and I think that's probably smart if Gill just sits there, takes that Mustang on the back end, and just hangs with McCook for a little while. Let him get out there and get out front and get the draft. but you also see Nerant and Slauson battling for the third place, and here comes Gill to the inside of McCook. It's so long. See you later. Adios, as your points leader gets the point as he comes across the line to complete lap number 11.
And McCook's got to fight back on this one. Can't let him get far too down the road there. Yep, that's right. Logan McGill licked the stamp and sent it. Mailed. Express 2. Keep an eye out for Todd Slauson now. He's thinking about here something with McCook. He's like, hey, we can't let Gill get away, my friend. Let's work together, perhaps.
Yeah, and of course, Slauson, right now the fastest lap of the race, 30.825. So he's got a fast out rod right under him as he rubs on the back. Ooh, a little bit of a wall tap there near the back of the pack. But either way, everybody able to get away. But here's the thing. Slauson now gets that nose to the inside of McCook. He also has help from Trocchi for that's going to be a battle for fourth place. Now Slauson comfortably gets his way into third place, but he's going to try and look to the inside of McCook. It's interesting that McCook is being a little racy here in spite of Gill already opening up a 0.2 of a second lead.
That's what you like to see, actually. I'm liking that. A little bit of 2x2 action. I don't think about 3 wide action just yet, gentlemen. Plenty of time to go in this racing. What did we say at the top of the hour there? It was about 65% fuel capacity. Well, we considered that out on our schedule in this series there, so 65%. There's 5 tire sets in this one, so it's 4 over the wall. As one of the drivers is just getting completely out of the way. 39.
Yeah, that could have been something nasty right there, as you're seeing side by side between Nerant and Wayne. Wayne was the one who decided to whack into the wall, but still able to hold on to that position. And Nerant just cannot find his footing. Ever since that last restart, he's now down 5 positions, because really you see Wayne and Nerant just swapping positions left and right. And, of course, this is a great battle here, but look at the battle up front. You see that Slauson's all over the back of McCook, and there's going to be some blue on the back of that black number 14 here shortly if he keeps running. But I got to say, at least they're keeping Logan Gill honest. 0.2 of a second separate first and second.
That's exactly right. I've seen Logan Gill run away with these runs before up front, and that's a great idea for these drivers to make sure that doesn't happen. Of course, these men also leading the championship. Unfortunately, did lose the championship on the Tuesday night series because unfortunately just could not attend the last race, and because it was so close at the points at the end there, he'll have to hand potentially the championship trophy that he had over to one of the other drivers. But he is in here tonight, and with the final couple of remaining rounds that we have after this one, wants to make sure he secures himself that championship in case he can't make it. Let's say, for example, get enough points, mate, so you win it by the penultimate round. Oh, 45 almost got straight in.
Oh, that was tough. Yeah, as Trocchi goes around the outside, and Slauson sends it completely to the inside, and they almost made some door handle to door handle contact as Ryan Wayne trying to improve upon where he's been. He's up 2 spots from his grid spot. But either way, this is still a great battle for fourth place, as now your pole sitter tries to slide the 46 back up. And still a lot of great racing action here near the middle of the pack. But Nerant, I think, was the biggest loser right there on that restart, as now you see the 91 of Joshua Wise coming up, and he wants to play.
Ooh, bit of blinking there as well, too. So thankfully the connection sorted itself out. I always went on board there for a second. Oh, bit of 3 wide action. I don't know, gentlemen, I love the racing, but you got to say, risking it for the biscuit, literally.
It looks like everybody is on the lead lap. You see Nerant having to go down to the apron to avoid some sort of contact there as the 46, the 47 now getting the single file formation. Oh, you saw Wise Wayne almost ending up at the back of Trocchi as worked their way down the back straightaway. That was pretty darn close. A little bit of front to nose contact. But either way, the 39 looking nice and tidy around 3 and 4. He's trying to make his way around, but here's the thing. You've got Trocchi who's just shoving him down towards that yellow line.
Get a little loosey-goosey in the rear end. Of course, we've still got plenty of laps to go, I'd say, before they have to get down to pit road. None of these drivers have been to our pit road, except for Brad Compton, who's made his way back up to P12 after spending about a minute down there for the early damage on our first caution, and only caution so far in this race. So, good recovery fight. That is the one advantage you'd have to say at the moment there, Jeremy, that if you do have an incident, have it early, give you enough time to fight back to the field.
Oh yeah, that's the best thing, especially with this 1.3 mile track. You've got gives yourself plenty of time to get up there. Hope for a caution or two, get a good pit stop, and that's the key, is to have that incident early. Kind of like having a black flag. If you gotta have the black flag, you want to have it early. A little bit high on the 39 of Wise as he brings Wayne as he brings the 91 Mustang of Wise into play as well. So that's going to be a tight battle for 6th place here shortly. But nobody is running away from anybody else in this top 6, 7, 8 cars, as Gill, he's lost a little bit of ground between he and McCook, as now that's about less than 0.2 of a second separating the two of them. And you got to start thinking about, when will these drivers have their pit stops? They don't want to burn the tires up too early, as you see Wesley Beasley going high, wide, and handsome over Zach Baker. Baker has a position. Of course, that's a battle to stay into the top 10, as the number 2 works his magic and tries to get close to that top 10 spot.
I think you're right about taking care of your tires a little bit at this point, if you can, because you're battling at full speed, full peltier, nobody's lifting, coasting, or anything like that. But just choosing those battles wisely, because it might come back. There's a little bit of a bump as well to the 51 and the 46, but choosing your battles wisely so that you have the grip and the traction when you need it to get those overtakes done.
Well, here's the thing too. You've got here and you've got Dover as 2 of the concrete circuits I can think of offhand. The rest of them, name it. So you're not really worried. You are still worried about tire wear, but here especially, this is where you really got to think about is Wise now has Edwards on his back bumper. That's a little interesting battle there, as you saw the 88 go a little bit low. Did we see a missed shift out of McCook? But either way, he's fallen back like the anchor dropped, and that's given Logan Gill a chance to really open up a gap over Nerat. Now you're side by side for a position between Wayne and McCook. 3 wide for the position.
This is getting dangerous because they're getting loose as well, too, as the tires start to wear a little bit more. So Kevy up into that P2 position, back up there. Remember, he was the pole set up. Logan Gill's got about a breathing space there of just over a second. And this is where that's going to back everybody up into the midfield at the moment. They're going to get a little bit more antsy to try to do some overtakes. I think this 3-wide action is over just yet, my friend.
Yeah, I don't think it is either, because they're kind of fixing to get bent here, as you saw. I don't exactly know. Did we get a replay of what happened with McCook there? Because that was a little argy-bargy there.
I don't, unfortunately, on that one.
Okay.
We get the replays and the cautions.
Then Edwards.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Edwards wallops the wall, but either way, see what happens is, now everybody, with the exception of the lead, are all bunched up. Here comes Baker. He's out of the driver out of Knoxville, Tennessee in the Toyota. He's gone down low on Wayne, but Wayne not letting him have it right away. Of course, the other loser in that incident was Slauson. He was running to the top 5. Now he's just on the outside looking in 6th place. But yeah, these two right here, the 39 and the 88, were really hoping for a good top 5 finish. They're still able for it. What I'm saying is they're not running the top 5 just yet. As you see, McCook's made his way back up to 3rd. Drocky sitting there in 4th place. But Nerat, he's gone from 1.3 seconds behind Logan Gill to about 0.8 of a second. So he's got the fishing line out there, and he's trying to hook up that Gill.
You just don't want to be the one that gets away, isn't it? It's, every time that you have all the fishermen say, the one that got away. The thing about Nashville as well too is it's great, and most of it's in the lights, but some of this track's quite dark actually. At least iRacing don't. There, right here, or iRacing don't emulate that properly. I mean, that's what gets me a little peeved off sometimes of iRacing. It's like put a little bit more, couple more lights on the backstretch. I know you focus on putting some guy out there in the crowd, maybe holding the camera or something, but let's just get a little bit more light on the track, please.
Yeah, but it gives it that short track feel, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, I think it gives it that short track feel. But you take a look at some of the night tracks that are out there, and the Musco lighting is so good these days to where, you don't see the dark spots. But either way, Gill doing the best that he can to try and hold off Nerat. And Logan Gill, I tell you what, lost a whole bunch of time this past time by, and Nerat's running 0.3 of a second faster.
Might have had a little bit of a tank slapper in the defense there somewhere that we didn't quite see. No visible damage on the car, but something scrubbed a bit of his speed away. And it's bringing our pulsar at Kevy back into play. And you can see currently at the moment in the fastest 5 for 5, Kevin's got that little bit of advantage by 2/10.
Well, take a look at the lines that the 12 and the 47 are running. It seems like the 12 is I wouldn't say happier per se, up in that second, between grooves 1 and 2. But watch as they go through the corner. You see that the 12 is opening up a lot earlier than the 47. I think that is where you are seeing NERAT make those advantages. Not going to make it happen this time, but then again, there is a car about ready to go one lap down. That's Guzik actually right there. This time, NERAT is going a little high and lost a little bit of momentum, but let's see what happens once they get around that lap car.
Because Guzik's down 15 places after involved in that early caution. Does not want to be lapped by these cars at the moment. If anything, he'd be hoping for a caution to come out there so he can keep on the lead lap. But he's about to go a lap down right now as they're going to approach him onto the backstretch, so it should not be too much of a problem to navigate through there. See whether or not Kevy can take an opportunity while Logan was trying to navigate with him, but no, that's not the case. Now you're going to see Dawson's going to just tag on to the back of these drivers and try to stay with them, but unfortunately, has to go a lap down. Needs a couple of cautions to come and play here if we get the lucky dog.
Yeah, but he's running a second, 2 seconds slower than the rest of the field. Of course, his early race pace, kind of ruined by that crash in the back straightaway early on. But now you see NERAT closing in on Gil once again. If I'm NERAT, I'm waiting for the exit of the corner. Of course, it's just so tough to try and make a pass there because, look, you get in that center of the corner and you see he's falling back just a little bit. So it's a game of cat and mouse here between the 12 and the 47 as Logan Gill still leading here 33 laps into the 155 lap race at Nashville Superspeedway.
Just got to be wondering who's going to be the first one to start jumping down a pit road, isn't it, on the green flag? If we do get green flag pit stops coming up soon. Of course, if there's going to be a caution anytime soon, everybody's going to be jumping down, no doubt. It's poor freshies on the gasolina. But for now, if we keep going green, it's going to start coming through some of the drivers' minds here, and then they're going to be spread out across the track map like Christmas lights around a Christmas tree.
So legal owners McCook and Trocki sitting there third and fourth. There is gap, but Trocki's holding off Wise, Wayne, and Baker, and others in position, Slauson and Floyd. That's another driver that what could have been Slauson. Of course, he was involved in that ta-ta-ta here several laps ago, but either way, it's going to be interesting to see what comes to life. And yeah, you mentioned green flag pit stops, and I'm wondering if that's going to be about the point when drivers start to, if they still want to make changes here during the green flag pit stops.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, isn't it, to see what's going to be happening with that situation.
I'll tell you what, though, I absolutely love green flag pit stops. The strategy, that was a little bit of a nudge there off of the 51, and drivers trying to jockey for position as Wayne goes to the inside and shuts the front door, gets the front door shut on him through there. As you see, NERAT going a little high there off of 3 and 4, but that's given McCook a chance to close in as well as those two race for position. I've got to say, this is absolutely fantastic with Wise still ahead of Wayne. Let's see if Wayne can get around Wise for position. As either way, Joshua Wise, probably your highest climber outside of Logan Gill since the grid start of the race. Wise up 7 spots, but holding off some very fast cars.
Good green flag racing is what we like to see, as this is where they're shuffling for the position here. I think for sheep stations down here in 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, pretty backed up closely together. You can see up the road there you've got Trocki, then a bit of a gap to Jason McCook there, and you know the battle that's happening between Logan Gill and Kevy up the front as well.
I'll tell you what, back there on the straightaway, you gotta hand it to Wise. As Wise, went, he saw that obviously he had Wayne trying to pass him, but he also saw Zach Baker try to poke that nose inside. So right around here is when he decided, okay, you know what, I'm going to kind of play block for both of them. And that's tough to do, especially at a fast track like this. But, kudos to Wise, who's doing the best that he can to try and stay in that 5th place to keeping 2 fast Toyotas behind him.
There he is right now, starting a good with There he is. So he's up 7 places. Remember, he's the second biggest gainer in this race. Coming down to pit roads, James Burns. So is this the start that we're going to see of scheduled pit stops?
Find out here and see what Burns does in that Camaro, but still side by side for 5th place as Wise gets that nose out front and tries to shove. Wayne gets that nose out front, tries to shove Wise up high off of turn number 2, but Wise muscles around the outside, and that brings in Zach Baker once again as Wayne tucks in there for position. A little bit of a wiggle out of the 39, so that backs him up into the 77 of 8 as you're on board with the number 77. He's lost a little bit of ground there through 3 and 4, so the car not doing too well through 3 and 4 as it was once again set up for another pass as Wise actually opens up about a 1 to 2 car length gap through 1 and 2.
And you start thinking whether or not the undercut's going to start paying off soon. We'll keep an eye on those times from Burns. Looked like a scheduled pit stop of about 14 seconds stationary, so we're taking some boots and some fuel. And then once he's got out into clean air, we'll see whether or not it's going to be beneficial for him. And some of these other drivers might be thinking about that, especially these drivers here of Wayne and Baker and even Todd Slauson here at the back. They're thinking, are we getting held up a little bit here? Maybe the undercut might start to pay off. And Logan Gill's in. So, change for the lead. He's selected to try that undercut right now. That could be quite a powerful thing. It's not the only one coming down. That looks like Jay Trocky's actually come down as well. Yep.
Trocky with a late call, though, to come into pit road.
Yeah, it was.
As you see, Wayne's coming in. So we got Gill, Wayne, Trocky all into the pits. And not sure if, well, let's see what the lap time is for Burns. He comes around. The undercut might work as Nerat's going to come out and get some extra laps in there. He's going to come down pit road. That is such a tough abutment there to come down off of 3 and go right into the cool down lane.
And you got to get it right here too. There it is. It can go, or you can get it all pearl shaped, just in that before. It'll switch it over to McCook now. So McCook, Baker stays out. Cole maybe, Frank Ranger maybe. Cole came in on lap 7, so get some damage repaired in that car. So I'd expect he's going to stay out a lot later. And Frank Ranger hasn't come in yet, but here it is. So race leader comes in of McCook. What about Baker? Is he going to stretch it one more? No, he won't. This could be almost the absolute limit of what they have for the fuel tanks here this evening. Cole will be the race leader now, mate, because once again, he didn't come down till last time we went down was lap 7.
Yeah, so stint probably 43 laps. So looking at possibly 2-stopper if you can make it happen. But right now, the fastest of the drivers who have come into the pit still Nerat. Cole and Ranger yet the pit. We'll see how long it takes Ranger, if how many more laps he wants to take. He might be trying to go for the overcut here. As you see Cole right now, your leader. But he's, this is kind of a strategy for him as he came in for that damage. It's been the first time that we've seen the number 17, Frank Ranger, on our screen as he tries to make the fuel stretch at least one more lap. He sees everybody doing 42, 43 laps, and he laughs a little bit and says, I think I'm going to try for 45 laps. As now Gill is the top runner of the cars that have pitted already. But here's the thing, did he just run out of fuel? That's the question. As Ranger, very slow coming off of turn number 4. He goes high, lets lap down car go around 33.2, and I would not be surprised to see Frank Ranger come into the pits this time.
Yeah, it's going to be a certain amount of time that you're going to be losing, isn't it? You're going to be like, okay. Yeah, it's definitely very slow now as everybody's going to be putting a lap down. Yeah, he's going to come down. Yeah. There's only so much time you can push the animal on the side of that car there. As the fastest man on track now.
Did I see a little wiggle?
Kevin. Yeah.
Did I see a little wiggle that he was trying to save some fuel? He might try and get some pickup.
Oh, he's in now. So there's our fast five drivers in the last 5 laps. But Michael Cole, remember, he's done some laps on this car. I think he's going to be coming down. Yeah, I think he is too, because it's only the 7-lap difference that he has. And I think he's figured out he's just probably going to be losing a little bit too much time. And Logan Gill will go back to the top of the timesheets and then to lead of this race.
And even with that fresh rubber, you see Nerat, who's in second place by about 2 seconds. 30.602. That's the fastest lap of the race so far. But, yeah, this is going to be interesting to see if Nerat still has the car under him to kind of chase down Logan Gill. Of course, it's interesting as well. Yeah, there's a little bit more traffic there as that's kind of slowing him down. That's James Burns, who he's got to go under right there and lost even more time. But Nerat, 0.8 of a second behind your race leader and your points leader. And here's what's interesting, too. Gill's pit stop time was about 1/10 of a second slower than Nerat's, but look at the gap. We saw how close that they were before they both pitted, and yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you that in-laps and out-laps are everything. Just don't smack the wall heading into turn one.
Yeah. I'll have a spin. Any of that, as you can see, we'll keep up the 5 fastest last laps. And these are some of the drivers there. He goes over to Zach Baker now. That's Lawson, Joshua Wise, Brad Compton. What's interesting at the moment, isn't it? No Kevy, no Logan, no Jay Truckee, the top 3. But I think that might be too because they had to deal with some traffic just before as well too. So once they get cleaned out, it should feel a difference there.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big difference. You've got 3 battles for position. You got the battle for the lead. We're watching right now the battle for 4th place between McCook and Wayne. And also behind them, you got Slauson and Baker in a battle for position. Here comes Wayne to the inside. He's going to take a look, and they're going to go side by side off of turn number 3. And interesting that McCook kind of took a higher line, so Wayne finally getting up one more position as he's got to hold off McCook in the number 14 Chevrolet. But now we see Nerat really closing in on Logan Gill. 31.1 to a 30.8 separate the two of them lap time-wise. 0.2 of a second separate your points leader for the pole sitter.
I wonder if the undercut just paid off there for Logan Gill. They were pretty much balanced, weren't they? Because Kevin came in on lap 43, Logan came in on lap 42. The other drivers came down on lap 42, 43, and 44. I wonder if this second time around in another schedule, if we have another green flag pit stop, so Kevin just elects to go down first this time and tries the undercut over Gill. If you can't pass him on the track, I can't see another way of doing it, unless you just want to take care of your tyres a little bit. Just keep himself just within slight of that 2 to 3 car lengths behind him. Try to save those tyres. Watch that scrubbing. Don't have too much movement. You don't want friction. Friction equals tyre wear. Smooth in, smooth out. And perhaps when push comes to shove at the end of the tyre life, that's when you attack.
Yeah, because I mean that's where we saw Nerat really close in. Now that I think about it, is on the end of the tire life stint, as he just keeps closing in. If I'm Kevin Nerat, I'm just sitting back there, letting Logan Gill scrub off all those tires, because you take a look at the 2 different lines, you see that Gill has a better, is just moving all over the place, whereas Nerat just sitting down there. And that's the lowest that we've seen Gill run this stint, as now Gill says, you want to pass me? You got to do it on the high side. High, wide, and handsome. Nerat tries to go for the lead, but Gill gets a better bite off of turn number 2. And look, this battle for 4th place also heating up back there. But let's stay with this battle for the lead, because I think Nerat is closing in. Oh, that's going to be the 91. It's 91? No, it's going to be one of the other lap down cars. The 04, I believe, going to be Dawson Gusick, going to go lap down once again. Fought to get on the lead lap, and nope, not going to get there. Not going to stay there.
Caught him in the right just position. Look how loosey-goosey that Logan comes into the corner. Probably a little bit too quick. He had to back off a tiny bit. But yeah, exactly. They caught the lap car at the right time too, because they caught him on the exit of the corner rather than approaching the corner. Would have been changing things down a little bit there between them. But they're back into clean air for a little while before they catch up to the number 12th placed car there of John Edwards.
Gusick back into the pits for his 3rd pit stop. I'm just wondering if that 04 has not been right since the contact, and just not feeling fast, because Gusick was one of the fast cars in qualifying up on the front row, but Nerat falling back just a little bit. And yeah, I'm starting to think the tire saving is going to come into play as we watch the battle for 4th between Wayne, McCook, Baker, and Slauson, as those 4 cars have now decided to catch up with each other. And I just think that this is going to be the story of the day is this middle group. They're all going to catch each other at some point. Yeah, they're spaced out now, but at the same time, this is just how it's going to be here at this track.
Thank you very much for the chatter out there. Big Jim. Great coverage, guys. Love Nashville. Change for the wall! Kevin, hold on to it, son. Ho, ho, ho.
Could have been nasty right there, as you saw both cars every which way, but sideways down the front straightaway, and that's giving Gil a chance to lead up. I'm thinking that Kevin just was a little too close and tried to make a pass, and Logan just decided, I'm going to throw the block, and one thing led to another. That'll be interesting to talk to those two later on to see what their point of view was. But now Nerat back on the gas as the battle for the lead becomes more of a fight for the lead.
And so Eye of the Tiger theme music, isn't it, from a Rocky movie? That's what it feels like currently at the moment. I don't want to take the... I know that there is a nice battle happening at the moment there between McCook there and Baker and Todd Slauson, but you just feel that this is brewing up for more action here at the front.
Oh, yeah. The pressure cooker is building, and the pot's boiling over there at the Loveless Cafe as they work their way around once again. Man, the fans are just holding their breath to see what happens next. Oh, that was a little bit of a loose moment for Gil as that back end is slap happy. By the way, that car up there, that's the 9 of John Edwards heading into turn number 3. So going to be interesting to see if they catch him, or when they catch him, I should say. Oh, look at how... Is it me, or is Logan's car just that loose through the corners now?
It looks very loose. Yeah, it does. I think Kevin's well aware of that situation as well too. So it's going to be... He's had the advantage here of studying Logan Gill's racing line for a good part of the majority of the race, whereas Logan hasn't had a chance to study anybody else but himself, leading the majority of the race too. So that's going to be the interesting thing that Kevin can do here. Find out where he is slightly slower and try to capitalize it. But it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to overtake, as you know.
Yeah, I'm thinking low that the number 12 Vince Mills Inc. Mustang is a handful for Gil, as he's just getting that thing every which way but sideways. But Nerat, he looks like he's just sitting there, one hand on the wheel, other popping in those curly fries as he works his way around once again. Let's see if he can dive to the inside. But I think that Nerat just saving his tires, waiting for that right moment. Almost had a couple of laps ago, but it might be coming up here shortly, as that was a big wiggle out of Gil, and that's the closest that he has been in quite some time. As you see now, the Vince Metals ink on the back of the deck lid, and Nerat just cannot make that position happen. He's just waiting for the mistake.
This might be waiting for him more so to slide up in the fence, I'd say. But you notice that Logan Gill's trying to stay away from that fence. And he's covering off the inside line too, so he's going to have to force Kevin to go around the outside exactly this moment right here, which is going to bring him dangerously closer, of course, up into the marbles and up in that fence area. We'll have to lift off, of course, so he doesn't hit the fence. That's what Logan's trying to do here. He's saying, Kevy, you've got to go around the outside, mate, but I'm not going to make it easy for you, because every time he tries to go the inside, Logan covers it.
I think Nerat's just smart and just sitting there waiting for something to happen here as we're working lap number 64. So we're past halfway in this race. Man, I can't believe we're past halfway. It's just this race has flown by so far as, we go back to this battle for position. Here comes McCook to the inside of Wayne. It's been a while since Wayne has had somebody try and go around him inside. Indeed, it makes it look easy. This time, Baker tries to go around the inside of Wayne, but gets the door shut on him. So the Toyota is trying to stay line of storm with the Jason McCook there. Here comes Baker to the inside, and I think now Baker's tires finally coming into prime, where Wayne just having problems trying to keep that car planted down to the inside.
Yeah, Wayne's had to back off on this one. But now, choose your fights the other day there if you feel that the other drivers are quicker. And it looks like Baker is quite confident with that car. Doesn't look like it's moving around too much there for the Toyota. That's the interesting situation up there. Up the front, still the usual suspects going for it. They're, John Edwards is going pretty good lap time, so they're not catching him anytime drastically. He's on the backstretch now. These drivers are entering into the backstretch. Once again, this is a situation. We've got 90 laps to go. Remember they did on our first round of pit stops, they did about 42 laps. So expect to see similar situation in our second round of pit stops if we get green flag pit stops. Currently at the moment, as you can see, they've done about 24 and 23 laps. So about halfway there.
Yeah, lap, if I can do my math correctly, 84 will probably be the best time we'll start to see these pit stops. And it's going to be interesting to see if how these two pick, because remember, Gil came in a lap earlier than Nerat, so we'll see if Nerat decides to do the same or if he's going to try the overcut. But either way, this is such a great battle between these two. We saw that Kevin almost got into the back of Logan there around 3 and 4 last time by. This time not as close, but Nerat's going to use the apron, try and get some momentum off of that. Not going to make anything happen. The more I see Kevin's car, the more I want Arby's, and that is absolutely detrimental, especially since they've got their new little, I think it's like a $6 snack box or whatever.
Oh, you tease me because there's no Arby's over here in Australia, so I just have to remember the many years ago that I did have Arby's while I was in the States. So I blame Kevy every week for that, but here's the situation. These two are still inseparable at this point.
Yeah, but you guys got Utes, so you know what? You win. Here comes Nerat closing in on Gil down into turn number 1. And not going to be any closer this time. But then again, he's both cars into the wall as Nerat slides down to the inside and tries to stave off Gil. Now it's a load of a tap into 3 and 4. Both of them still keep it going. I've got to say this, Dean, they've done everything but slam each other, and they're still pointed forward. But look at, now you're introducing Trocky and McCook into the battle as well here in a little bit.
That's true. They're starting to get some pick up the pace, but then behind for sure, absolutely. And that Trucky's down under a second now behind him, so this is costing a bit of time, bit of traffic up the road as well too. He left the door open for Kevy to come on down in the inside, and Kevy did try the inside apron, but of course it bounces you off that little bit of an elevation change. Didn't quite find the traction down there and what he needed, so he had to lift off, and whoa! That's the traffic that you need to be worried about, my friend. Cost him a bit of time.
Yeah, that was Burns. Oh, man, I tell you what, Nerat probably cursing Burns right now, but that gives Nerat another chance to kind of close in. But however, Trocky now wants to come out and play as he's now closing in big time on the 47 of Nerat. They're nose to tail heading down the back straightaways. Trocky is going to try and go down low this time. And they're going to try and bring Guzik alongside him. As that car that's one lap down, still getting a little racy here. Do they enter into the conversation of second place where they shouldn't be entering themselves into?
I'm going to be in it to win it, my friend, don't you? 84 to go. So not quite halfway through this race just yet, but that definitely cost him as Trocky's up in the P2. Oh, Kevin Nerat, he's just got to sit there and get back up into his groove. But the problem, of course, once again, he is fighting with Dawson. Remember, who would have loved to be fighting with these guys on the lead lap earlier if he didn't have the incident with Compton.
Yeah, Dawson's still showing some speed. He's running at the same times as the leaders, so he's got that going for him, which is nice. But you know what? Ifs and buts or candies and nuts, we'd all have a good time. As now he goes around the outside, so Dawson going high, and that's going to be interesting to see how long it takes for him to get up to Gil to get his lap back the hard way. One of his laps back, I should say, the hard way, as he is currently 9 laps down in 17th. But man, talk about running, good run of bad luck right there, as Nerat went door to door with Burns and just lost a whole heap of time. He's now down to about 1.7 seconds behind Logan Gil, whereas 2 laps ago he was 1.6 seconds closer that time.
That's right, my friend. That's the situation there, so got to just work it out. I think it was quite clever for Trocky and Kevin there just to allow Dawson just to go through there, and clearly he had the pace anyway. He was probably lapping, if not a similar pace, if not a little bit quicker. So choose that battle some other time, not right now. So it lets itself sort out. Mick Cook, Baker, and Wayne are still battling it out at the moment there for 4th, 5th, and 6th. As we get ever closer and closer to the next round of our pit stops.
It's going to be within 10 laps or so, as Logan Gil still your leader ahead of Jay Trocky. Trocky not closing in too much. He's just about a second behind your points leader and your leader right now. But McCook, Baker, and Wayne trying to close in on Nerad for that third spot right now. I don't think they're going to be able to do it right away, though. Right now for ninth, you've got a battle between Brandon Biggs in the 23 and Andrew Floyd in the 11th. Those two have closed in there. It's kind of the Courtney effect right there. But either way, the top five starting to pack up just a little bit as you look out of the back of Chase and McCook. A little bit of a gap there between Wayne and Baker. As you see Baker just ahead of Wayne coming off turn 4. So drivers trying to think about what do they want for their final pit stop. Here's the thing. You got to try and make this stint stretch, because if I'm doing my math correctly, you might have to do one more stop. So I said it was a 2-stop strategy. Might actually be a 3-stop strategy with a quick gas and go on that final pit stop.
That's exactly right. Who was the driver before that stretched it out? It was Michael Cole.
That would have been Michael.
47.
Yeah, he did 47 laps.
Yeah. If you think, if anything, he might be the one who could potentially stretch it to a two-stop.
The only way you're going to get a 2-stop here tonight is if you get into caution territories. Jason McCook and Zach Baker battling for position. You saw McCook go high off of turn number 2, and now Baker decides to throw it in there into the corner, and he gets that position for the time being. But you see McCook diving around the inside as Baker's left that door open after smack of the wall there.
Yeah, I think Baker pushed it too much speed carrying through the corner there, didn't he? And then just couldn't quite get it lifted off enough. Might have copped a bit of damage too on the side of that 77, considering the great pace he's been having to fight his way up there. Now he's going to have to yield that one over to, looks like Ryan Wayne as well too. He's going to go up the inside there. I don't think he's going to be able to defend against that too much. Could have got a little bit of damage on that 77 that might be costing him. He's going to find out the next couple of laps, as there is still a lot of three-way action. These are all over the place. This is Edwards and Wesley.
Yeah, and these aren't cars that are on the lead lap. These are cars that are one lap down. So Cole trying to close in there with a little wall slap, and we do see one car coming down onto pit road. Not sure who that is, but now we are starting to see the battle for the lead really heat up as Jay Trocchi now wants his shot at Logan Gill. Nerat couldn't catch up, but then again, this is going to give Nerat another opportunity to possibly close in on this battle for the lead. It's Ford over Chevy. Oh man, Gill's just getting a lot looser the longer this run goes on, but he's able to get on the gas a little bit earlier than Trocchi is.
I think, yeah, but if you see Gill's driving style, he likes a bit of drifting. He likes to drift the cars. Actually feels quite calm. It looks like he's just, really struggling with it sometimes, but I think it's his driving style. You see it throughout the season. He tends to do that, and it works because the man knows how to win races, even if he likes having it all loose in the rear end like that. That's just probably the way that the driver likes to set up, as I said.
Oh, if I liked it loose and half around, we're not going to go that way. It's a family program. But either way, those Goodyears probably are not liking it. And now we're starting to see pit stops underway as your leader comes in. So Jay Trocchi will get his start at the turn at the point. As you see the leader, Logan Gill, your points leader, 39 laps. So I think they took that first pit stop and they extended it. So they're going to have to do another pit stop here. Yeah. I would probably say about lap 120.
Yeah, it's a little earlier, isn't it, this time around? Not what they did last time. But they are. That's when you see Baker coming in, Burns coming in. Now we're going to see the rest of the field coming in, as Kevy will go back out to the lead. I just thought that you might have seen somebody like any of these other drivers try the undercut on Gill, but they're not, once again, they're not doing it. They're always going in that lap later after him. So
yeah, we'll see if the overcut works out for Nerat, as once again, he's pushing at 32.404, but McCook with a 32.238. You see Slauson into the pits as well. Beasley is out and away, 15.2 seconds. And let's see what happens. McCook into the pits as well, as he's going to try and hustle his way around that cool down lane as Trocki's Loss and Wayne now have made their way onto their pit box as McCook is back out to the point for the time being. We'll see how long he stays out as McCook holding on to that lead for quite some time. Long pit stop out of Trocki's. He's falling down the order. 14.98 out of Wayne.
He got
14.28 out of Slauson. He's still in the pits.
He got a black flag. So it might be a stop.
Oh.
I just noticed that popped up on a telemetry there as well, too, as well as Burns. So that could be a stop penalty there. He has to just sit there and serve that at the moment. Unfortunately for him, isn't it? Potential podium here. He's slipping through his fingers late in the, as we're getting into the final third of this race, let's say.
Rocky must have gotten hit hard with it. 55 seconds. That was definitely a stop and hold plus 40 for Too Fast entering. My assumption is now Gill will get back to the point as Chasen McCook comes into the pits. And that should be everybody answering the call. Andrew Floyd, 15.2. As Biggs and Edwards are on their pit box. Burns is into the pits as well. So we will see how this all shapes up here in the next couple laps. We'll see and get to the running order once we get it all said and done as Michael Cole comes into the pits as well. So there's your leader. Once they cross the line, you see the 11 of Andrew Floyd coming back out right essentially ahead of Gill, but that's what basically one lap down. Wayne trying to close in on Nerat for position, but again, Nerat has the 1 lap fresher tires to Wayne, 2 lap fresher tires to Logan Gill.
I think Jay Jockey had a little off-track moment there for a second too, but he's okay. Logan Gill back to the lead. So the gap is 2.6 seconds, give or take there. And as you can see, Gill has to navigate some traffic too from Kevy in the P2 position. There's a driver just, I think that's Joshua Wise, just getting off into the apron there. Maybe just because he saw these drivers coming thick and fast and thought, I'm getting out of the way.
Yeah, smart move. By the way, we've got 6 cars on the lead lap as now Gill puts the 11th of Andrew Floyd 1 lap down. You're on board with the 77 of Zach Baker. He closes in on Brandon Biggs for that 9th spot. Biggs up 1 spot. We haven't mentioned him too much as Baker makes easy work of Biggs so far around 1 and 2. Of course, Baker has the hotter tires right now, but Biggs has 4 lap fresher tires, so that's going to be interesting to see how that works later on down the run. As Baker was the first car to answer the call into the pits. Of course, he's fallen back a couple positions as a result of the undercut not working that well. Nerat 2.6 seconds in arrears from Gill, but Ryan Wayne, he's up 5, so finally making his way deeper into the top 5 as we've seen him methodically climb up through the field so far, although Logan Gill, Andrew Floyd tied for the biggest mover so far this race.
And once McCook took his pit stop there before on lap 86, a couple laps later than the rest of them, he slotted himself back out into P6, so he's 2 positions down from where he started this race. Just, you know it towards the end, that'll be great. Towards the end of your tyre stint, you're going to have a little bit more grip than the rest of the field does. But it seems to me that the undercut seems to be working, especially in Logan Gill's favour here tonight as well, too, because he's coming down practically before almost all the other drivers after their scheduled pit stops, and he's always managing to regain that couple of second lead when he comes back out. Or actually gain the lead, isn't it? Mainly gaining an advantage.
Yeah. Well, everybody trying the overcut on Logan Gill just has not been able to come out front. It's going to be interesting now to see, because we're going to be at a point where you can pit any time after, lap 110 and be good for the finish. We'll see if somebody decides to try the undercut on Logan Gill. And of course, look at the fastest time. You've got Kevin Nerat right now with a 30.72. So he's consistent, but the problem is just trying to get around Logan Gill.
Yeah. Once again, it's that catching is one thing, overtaking is another. He is slowly doing it, but he's got that down to 1.5 now. So that's all he needs to do. But this time around, you got to be wondering, how can he get past Logan Gill? Like, Logan Gill's just shutting the inside down every single time he has to do it and forcing him to drive around the outside. I guess if you can hurry up and catch him now and don't burn through those boots so quickly, you'll have the grip to go around the outside.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how that plays out here in these next couple of laps. Nerat, though, finally closing in on Gill, about as good as he normally does. And we'll see if, here's the thing, he's got to get around Andrew Floyd, first of all, who is 1 lap down, and Floyd just doing all he can. But what's interesting is, the one thing I'm finding interesting here in this battle, Gill is using up his tires, doing all he can to keep Floyd 1 lap down. And I think the more that he's going to do that, the more that Nerat is going to close in. So I'm interested to see how this plays out in the next couple of laps, but I think Gill's just racing a little bit too hard there to keep a car 1 lap down, when his bigger problem is 2 car lengths behind that car.
Yeah, well, it keeps him a gap between. It keeps Kevin off his tailpipe by at least 1 car at this point, doesn't it? But yeah, how much is it going to be using to do it? We'll still keep an eye on those 5 fastest lap averages over 5 laps. As you can see in that list, there is no Logan Gill at this point. So,
well, no surprises he chased McCook at the top of that either. McCook's been pretty good so far this race. Although right now you take a look at it 6th, but you know as well as I do, Dean, that what's on paper doesn't really equate to what exactly we've seen all race long. Is now it's going to go 3 wide with 2 lap cars, and yeah, the 11 decides, you know what, discretion's better, power of valor. You want to catch up to Logan Gill? Have at it.
Loving the racing. Still one of the closest battles on track. We have Zach Baker and Brandon Biggs, who know that those two have been at it for some time as well too, and for 9th and 10th. Is this bringing Wayne into play here? Ryan Wayne in P2? Well, he's about 2 seconds change down the road from this battle you're seeing. Joshua Wise is in now. He took a late pit stop last time as well too, I think, or he's down at the moment on a completely different strategy, I think, than the rest of the drivers. Surely you can't go to the end on that. No, 60 laps, no. Wouldn't be able to do 60 laps unless you got some extra reserve tank in that car. And even if you did, your tyres aren't going to be too nice at the end of it. Here we go.
Wise is having some. Here comes Val for the lead. I wonder if Wise is having some issues, because we did see him in the pits with the rest of the field, but now you are seeing Kevin Nerat closing in on the back of the 12 of Logan Gill. We've seen how these two have raced all race long, and he's not close enough to make anything happen just yet. Nerat closes in, though, looks at the outside. Too far away to make anything happen, because we know that Gill's so good coming off the corners, but Nerat able to keep pace with your leader around turn number 4 and down the front straightaway once again. We're working lap 99, 56 laps left to go as the field just tightening up here for the lead. Nerat, though, a 1/10 of a second behind Logan Gill. It's Mustang over Camaro.
And once again, see the door shut on the inside. Logan Gill's not going to give him much space there. We'll give him one on the exit there, but then if you put your nose up in the air, you better be going to see a plastic surgeon. You're going to get it chopped off. But here we go. He has to yield the inside now, as he makes a small mistake on the error there from Logan Gill. And they're going to go side by side, but Kevin's got to hold the inside position here and commit to it. There's no way that Logan Gill can come and chop his nose off at this point, as long as he can keep that car right up next to him.
Nerat keeps Gill up high, and that's exactly what Nerat needs to get that lead back once again. Out front, who gets it at the stripe? Across the line, it's going to be Gill by 0.06 of a second, but how long will that last? Here comes Nerat, deep to the inside. They're side by side once again. A little bit of a wiggle out of Nerat. That's going to give Gill the chance to open up a little bit, but Nerat's still able to get back on the gas and get that quarter panel. Still, Gill takes the point for now.
Shut the door there, as Floyd's got a bird's eye view to this one. Andrew Floyd, who's just a lap down from these drivers, and he'd be hoping that if there's an incident right now, he'll get that lucky dog and get back onto the lead lap. But that's Andrew Floyd running in P7 position while the two leaders are battling it up the road there. Once again, Kevy can get close up the inside here. It's been left open again, but he gets a little wiggle when he gets on the power on the exit, doesn't he? And then he has to drop off a bit of speed. Logan Gill, of course, uses the momentum on the high side. and comes back down again. So this is a similar situation we've had between the drivers. Logan Gill's just barely giving up an inch of racetrack at the moment to Kevin Nerat.
And here's the thing, you saw Gill kind of pinch Nerat down to the bottom lane as they came off of turn number 4. So I think what Gill needs to do is Nerat needs to do is he needs to slide him up and kind of keep him, pinch him up high to give him less momentum and scrub off some of that speed. Of course, you mentioned Ryan Wayne. Remember, he was 2 seconds behind this battle. Well, because Gill and Nerat have gone side by side, he's now a half second behind behind Nerat and 0.7 of a second behind Gill. So we could have a 3-car battle for position here in just a little while. And I know that Wayne is looking at his chomps trying to show what he has in that Toyota.
Oh, he'd be loving that battle. I figured that when you start getting too wide here, you clearly see how much of time it scrubs off them each time. When they're line of stern, not a problem. They can get the speed up there. Here we go. Another attempt. Once again, I'm not sure how many attempts this is now. Probably getting up around 10 or something like that. But trying to get a nose here. Won't be getting lap leaders. That'll go to Logan Gill in this race by far. Because if Kevin can get past him, it's going to be certainly a great battle. You can see in the background Wayne just trying to get past the 11 there of Floyd, which he does. So once again, he'll be joining this party very quickly. He actually gets him. Yeah. But now he's have to play blocks, so he's got a great pass right there for position. And now Gill's turn as he's going to close in even closer to Nerat down the straightaway. Of course, that's giving Wayne he has not been able to catch up on trying to get around the lap car of Andrew Floyd. Floyd showing his speed. Now he lets Wayne get around, so Wayne now going to close in here on second place, Logan Gill. And I think that's the first time we've seen somebody actually pass Gill in honest on the circuit. So that's something to watch out for. Let's see here. They came in at 82. We're at lap 106. Yeah, look at that. 84 laps led for Gill. And yeah, that's basically going to be the most laps led so far. But here's the thing. Your leaders are going to have to come into lap traffic in just a little bit. Do believe that is it. Yeah, it's going to be some lap traffic here with trying to see Michael Cole and someone else up ahead. Yeah, so Wise. That's going to be quite interesting to see how these two play out. And now you see Wayne trying to get around Gill for that second place. So Gill's car's just falling off. Yeah, I wonder if he's actually used too much of those tires defending against that hard attack there from Kevin. Oh, there it is. Indication of a little tank slapper on the fence tells you that the tires are starting to fall off the cliff a little bit there for Logan. That's going to be a bit of a smile.
Oh, tires are starting to fall off the cliff.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Dean, here's the thing. How many times have we seen Logan Gill whack the wall and create just a bunch of puffs off of, like going into 1, coming off of 2, going off of 4. So I'm starting to wonder if that's catching up with him.
You might be right on that. Yep. Slight little bits of damage all do add up over a period of time to the car. Hey, keep an eye on Kevin's P1's not safe at the moment too, because Ryan Wade, hard charger here at the moment. He's up 6 places in this race, and he's thinking, all right, has put pressure on Kevy. Has Kevy burnt too much of his tyres as well to in that battle earlier? Remember the one thing too about Logan Gill? He came down the pit road, remember, earlier, so the driver, so his tyres are a couple of laps older than majority of the field. That's the only downside, of course, of doing the undercut, is that you're going to stay out there longer on the worn tyres until you head down to pit road.
Burns into the pits. I think Burns in the pits. I think that's going to be his final stop of the night. As you see Ryan Wayne closing in on Kevin Nerat, your pole sitter, as you saw Burns go down to the pit box. And now, let's see here, that's going to be Michael Cole that your leaders are coming up upon. Once again, lap 110 will be in the books once they cross the line. And we've seen some great racing here. And will we see a banger of a finish? I have a feeling we will, because these two drivers up ahead have to take their final pit stop. Logan Gill has to as well. In 26 laps since Nerat took the pits, and of course Baker and Trocchi had to take repairs last time by their pit stop. So we'll see how this all plays out for them. You see Cole, I should say, going high and let the leaders come around.
Do you think that the pit stop there from Burns can go to the end on that one now?
I think so.
Surely it's...
I think that as long as he makes it last, because you got to stop and figure. He was stopped on lap 109, and Burns was one of the drivers in the first stint who stayed out the longest, ran a 47 lap stint. I have a feeling that that's going to be his final pit stop. So let's take a look here at the gap between Nerat and Wayne, and yeah, they're now within a camera shot of one another. It's 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second, I should say, as Wayne up 6 spots from his grid position. He's been quite racy most of the race, Dean, and I'm not surprised that he's finally made his way up to the front, as it looks like his car was set up for these later runs.
Yeah, it could have been set up exactly for knowing that it... if you got long green flag runs, it could be quite beneficial for you. Of course, it's really hard to know, isn't it? That you could have a race that's full of a bunch of cautions as well too, and then if you don't have the long stints, you don't get a chance to really show the true setup speed that you have. But clearly in this, he's loving it right now, my friend, number 39 Toyota, and he's going to have to put some pressure on our race leader as much as possible. Once again, how much are those tyres has Kevy used in that hard charging battle that he had with Logan Gill, who's just still the pictures in the background there in P3.
Look at the lap times, though. It seems like that Wayne is finally getting out. He's using that high line to his advantage around 1 and 2, but I have a feeling we are about 5 laps away from the final pit stop of the race, at the very least. And that's gonna tell. This will be the money stop for a lot of these drivers to see who's gonna get out front. And I have a feeling Nerat is gonna wait till the last possible minute, see what the lap times are this past time by. And yeah, once again, it's just a couple hundredths of a second. But Ryan Wayne, that number 39 is very happy, not just on a Thursday, but here on a Sunday.
So we might have had a crash here too. Oh, we have actually. From Wesley. So, but no caution. Oh, I think he just pulled over and retired. I think that's what that is. It's not a crash. It's just indicated as a slowdown. Yep. I think so that's a retirement, unfortunately, for the number 2. So we've gone into the pit lane. We've seen 100% retirement.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen at least one driver out of this race. That's Kenneth Boehm, and here comes the battle for the lead as Wayne goes to the inside of Nerat in turn number 3. Nerat's going to have to try and make it still defensive through 3 and 4, but for the time being, the Toyota driver puts the nose out front. Does he keep it across the line? That's the question. Indeed, he will. So move Ryan Wayne to the front so far, but Kevin Nerat still trying to make it happen and stay out front as we're closing in on that final pit window as Wayne slides up and shuts the door on him. So move Ryan Wayne to the front, and I think this is the first time he's made a pass on track for the lead.
Yes, it is. So he'll join that list of lap leaders. Another interesting thing at the moment as well would be, I'm just keeping an eyes peeled on the Logan Gill's time to these 2 drivers as well too. We know what happened before when we had 2 front runners charge at each other. It helped that man who's in the lead of this race right now, Ryan Wayne, catch both of them and overtake both of them. Now at the moment he's leading the race, but it is 1.6 to Gill, 1.5. Only difference here, remember Logan Gill's tyres are older than these drivers too, so he's not going to have that extra grip what he needs. There's pit stop right now.
Oh, could the undercut work for Kevin Nerat as he decides to dive into the pits, the first of the leaders to come in as Nerat hits his marks. He's got to make sure not to get a speeding penalty going into the pits, and Chase McCook will join him. So the 47 and the 14 both coming into the pits for their final pit stops. They've got to hit better than 14.8 as they have a last time by, but still your eyes are on this pit stop here. It's the money stop as the cars go down off the fast lane into the crossover zone, hit their marks. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for the 12 For the 47, as Ryan Wayne, your leader, comes into the pits as well. Right side's done on the 47. Now we see your leader down the pit road. Of course, that gives the lead back to Logan Gill. 14.5 for Nerad, 14.5 as well for McCook. So 2 great pit stops. Now we see what Wayne can do.
They should be quick pit stops as well too, because some of these drivers might risk it and just slightly time their fuel perfectly. The only downside of that, of course, is if you get a couple of green-white checkers, you're in big trouble late in the race. But if you just gas it just enough to go to the end, you're going to get yourself the shortest pit stop that you can possible, and of course, perhaps gain yourself some track position or not lose track position. But that's the gamble you pay here, my friend, in Nashville.
15.3 out of Ryan Wayne, so slower pit stop from Nerad as Compton is your leader, because the points leader comes into the pits. Logan Gill, on to the marks they go. And it's going to be see how long their pit stop is. And we'll see how much longer that Brad Compton comes into when he comes into the pits. Because right now, Nerad's going to come around, and the undercut will work successfully for Ryan Wayne. 14.87. I've got to say this, that 47 crew is on fire, because they have the fastest pit stop of this cycle.
And at the right moment, you need to do it too. Crunch time. Look at the gap that Kevin has to Ryan. 2 seconds. This is what I was saying, and he just set the fastest lap on that last lap as well too. He's got the fresh boots there, and he needs to build that gap up as much as he possibly can, and he's going to be happy with that. This is what I said. I was surprised that some of the drivers weren't trying the undercut earlier, because it has paid off, and it's certainly paid off for Kevin on this one as well too, by going in that lap earlier. He's now got himself the race lead back from Ryan Wayne, as he can drive completely around the outside, because he knows he's got all the traction in the world. And, he's got that gap, so there it is. This time around, Logan Gill's having to defend against Chase and McCook to even get himself holding onto that P4 position. So as Compton's still yet to come in, essentially that's going to be the battle for P3 position, you'd say.
Yeah, Trocky into the pits, Cole into the pits as well, and Trocky on his pit stop, but you're still watching off the top of McCook in the number 14, and it's by the new tires, still running that second line, and Compton yet to come in. I think he's going to come in this time by. That is the 6, looks like, that has taken the dive into pit road. A couple other cars who are going to take their final pit stops as well, and
Compton.
Compton in the pit. So Nerad will take the lead once again from the point. It's going to be 2.1 seconds to Ryan Wayne. So a really successful undercut out of your aggregate leader.
And as you said, the difference in the pit stops as well too was almost. Well, that's what we get from our timing up there, but it was a 14.5 stationary for Kevin, 15.2 for Ryan, 14.87 for Logan, and then a 14.53 for McCook. So that slower pit stop did cost, potentially, didn't it? Ryan Wayne could be the race win here. Definitely cost him the lead of this race, and he's got 2 seconds to make up to Kevin in the late stages of this race. Yeah,
3/4 of a second cost him 2 seconds on the track course. We also don't know how, the in laps, the out laps between the two of them, but Nerad, we know how good he is on the in and out laps here tonight. As Wayne, he's got 29 laps to close 2.1 seconds. That's going to be a little difficult to say the least, but everybody kind of strung out just a little bit after these pit stops. But right now, the 47 looking high and mighty with under 30 laps to go.
We've seen John Edwards stretching it out there, 41 laps that he hasn't come down a pit road yet, which he does right now, actually. So there you go. Running on vapors on that thing. He'll be so happy to have some full freshies. This will be the last set of their tyres, I believe, that will be available as well, too. So I don't think we had 4 sets available. No, they might still have a set available to them if we go to our late caution. Should be a big ask, wouldn't it there, Jeremy? Would you trade up track position and get you some full freshies late in a race?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I would. I mean, I'd try depending. It depends on where I was, to be honest with you, where I was on the track. But, I don't think that these tires can last longer than 50, 55 laps with the way that these guys are running them so far. And Ryan Wayne closing in a little bit on Nerat. John Edwards with a black flag, so I have a feeling he was too fast exiting, so he'll have to come in and serve that. As Joshua Wise, Wesley Beasley still in the pits, but Joshua Wise back into the pits.
Yeah, might be fixing some damage there, potentially. Might have felt that car's a little bit too undrivable. Come back in the pit road there, see if we can get chipped that out. Unfortunate, isn't it, for John Edwards? He was inside that top 10. Probably might drop him out at the moment. Well, then Michael Cole, yes, gets past him. He's going to get down there and serve that again, which he will now. Might even cost him a couple more positions. Guzak back in again, my friend, and Wesley, unfortunately, I'm sure he's even in the car on him at the moment there, but he's been down there for at least 8 minutes and change up, and there he's retired from the race now.
Yeah, what a shame for Beasley. It was tough going for him most of the race, and Logan Gill running the fastest lap of the race right now, 30.4, but Nerat just clocking off lap and after lap after lap, and Wise with cops an off track. But, I think Gill's just going to get the fastest most laps led so far this race, as he was out front for quite some time. To see 85 laps into this 155-lap event, as Nerat closes in on more lap traffic. But once again, he cannot, he can't doubt Ryan Wayne right now, as he's just closing in ever so slightly, running a tenth of a second faster each and every lap. So it's going to be a question of when, not if, Wayne can catch Nerat.
Gotta chip away at it, don't you? You have to do the math whether or not 1/10 per lap would be enough. It would be enough to catch up the back of him, but once again, if you just don't catch up and then overtake somebody, Kevin's got to defend like mad. Plus, they've all got traffic to navigate through here, and that shouldn't be a problem right there around the 07 there. So Ryan Wayne says, thank you very much. Didn't cost me any time, because I'm trying to put a qualifying lap after qualifying lap after qualifying lap in to try to catch Kevin the race lead. 2/10 that last lap.
Help Kevin. I was going to say it's going to help Ryan out is the fact that Kevin's got two cars that he's got to put one or more laps down.
That's right, you can see it up the road. So we'll just keep our eyes, we're riding on the roof cam of Wayne. That time around, pretty much even Stevens. It's 1.5 the gap. Once again, he needs at least 1 to 2 tenths per lap, doesn't he? Really, to catch on the back of him. And at the same time,
it's easier said than done.
That's why we're up in the vehicle, don't we? They're the brave gladiators that are batting it out in the arena of Nashville. But at the same time, you also don't want to take too much out of the tires, do you? You want to push, but you don't want to push too much, because then you go, all right, great, I pushed them. Now I'm on the back of the 47, but I got no tires left to overtake, so I'm just going to have to sit behind him anyway. So it's a bit of strategy at play here at the moment.
A little bit of strategy here. Let's see this time by Nerat running about a tenth of a second slower than Wayne, but again, 20 laps to go. Anything can happen. Only one caution period thus far this race, but either way, these guys have been running nice and clean so far, and this is actually the closest battle of the race that we have so far, as it's been one caution for 3 laps, 13 lead changes. A lot of those due to pit stops, but either way, we are seeing Ryan Wayne, who really, in my opinion, has been the story of the race, running in the middle of the pack, and then that 39 just getting hooked up near the end of the race here, and finally able to catch up and close in on the lead. Of course, right there, he's got John Edwards behind him. Edwards about 5 laps down so far this race, but it'll be interesting to see if he can get Edwards to play nice with them. Of course, Edwards in a Chevy and Wayne in a Toyota. I don't know how nice they're going to want to play here in just a little bit.
Oh, it depends who's your mate that you shouted a beer the other day. I said, all right, mate, come and help me out here at the moment. I'm trying to chase down the race leader. I can't afford to lose any time whatsoever battling it out with you here. And obviously for the and that blinking's not going to help Wayne as well too. Thankfully his connections got back into that. But John Edwards, he's really got nothing really to gain at this point, isn't he? But by overtaking him, this is not going to really change anything to do with his position. But it's down to 1.3 now with 17 laps to go. So it is in the momentum's favour there of Ryan Wayne at this point, but we do know Kevin's just not going to let you just drive on by once you get up to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter, but now here's what's interesting is that Edwards makes easy work of Ryan Wayne. So Wayne falling back just a little bit. Let's see what the lap time is this next time by. We got 16 laps to go across the line. It's 1.6 out of both drivers, and it's going to be a 31.7 out of Wayne. So I think he might have just said, you know what, you want to get around me? That's fine. I'm not racing for any sort of position right now.
What if he can get it? He's fallen back out of the toe as well, too, out of the dirty air. So didn't really want to be staying with him too much, either that or obviously Edwards is just so much quicker. It looks like Edwards is anyway, because what goes around comes around. Edwards going to do the same thing to our race leader very soon. That gap's still 1.3 between the top two. That's what these drivers will be listening to. 1.4, 1.5, dropping back a little bit there is Wayne. But we'll see how this, how John Edwards will play a spanner in the mix here to Kevin now in the lead.
You know, and I'm sure that Kevin Spotter's sitting there saying, okay, you've got a faster car behind you. You got a fast car behind you. So, you know, and Nerat's just going to let him by right now. So now it's going to be Mono for the lead with 14 laps to go.
Yeah, and that cost him 2/10 there by letting him through. That's the same thing that happened as well, too. Remember when Wayne let him through, it cost him about 2/10. Now that's the same situation. That's a roll in reverse. So it's down to a second that we're looking at between Wayne and Kevin here. We're 14 laps to go. That's one for the chat out there who was busy asking the question, can he get the job done and steal P1 away? Was Kevin going to hold off and get his race victory here in the music city of Nashville?
Well, remember earlier on when they were racing each other before the last pit stop, they were separated by about 2 seconds, and now that they're separate, and it took them probably about 5 or 6 laps to get up there, now we're getting into that danger zone for Kevin, where it's under a second separating Nerat from Wayne for this lead battle as they work their way through 3 and 4 once again, and Edwards is just long gone, so Nerat does not have any sort of help with the leaders. Let's see what it is this time by 31.8, 31.7, so Wayne methodically claws his way to close that gap. It's about 10 car lengths right now between your leader and the second place driver. No other close battles, not too much of a consequence. Trocky and Big still battling for 8th place, and Ranger and Edwards. You see Edwards up ahead there, closing in on Frank Ranger for the 11th spot. Right now we have 6 cars still on the lead lap with 10 laps to go. Time to drop the hammer if you're going to try for any other sort of position.
Yeah, all you can do right now if you're Wayne is just continue to chip away here. Apply the pressure. That's all you can do. Try to force Kevin into a mistake. Kevin knows he's got a bit of play wiggle room here at this point. Down at the 7/10s. He knows that he can make probably 1 or 2 slight errors here, but not much more than that. And once again, if you're Ryan Wayne, you just got to apply that pressure. Force him into a mistake. One little mistake, and then all of a sudden you can get yourself a race victory. That's all you can do from this far back now.
Oh, that was a perfect move by Nerat to put that lap car as a block. And how much time will Wayne lose? Actually, not too much time, but still, it gives Wayne a chance. It gives Nerat a chance to find some other method to keep the 39 behind him.
You remember too how it didn't take Wayne that long to get past. Remember, he had to get past Logan Gill and Kevy to get himself up to the race lead before that last round of pit stops, where he unfortunately had to come back out here in that P2 position. But he definitely had to chisel his way. I think he said it earlier, didn't you? He's got the long pace run here. Certainly got that speed. He's smoother in, smoother out. Problem that he has right now is that thing that says 9 laps to go, which will be 8 laps to go soon. That's what he's not wanting to hear from his spotter.
Yeah, the sands in the hourglass are definitely sneaking out of the top. as Nerat is your leader. We know how hard it is to get around the leaders. Catching him is one thing, but getting around him here in Nashville is completely different. You've got to really make sure you get your pass on the down low, especially if you're going through the turns. But does Ryan Wayne have anything for Nerat as he closes in once again? 0.2 of a second separate him, and now it's under 0.2 of a second with 7 laps to go. The happy Thursday Spike Refreshers hood getting bigger and bigger in the mirrors of your leader. And Wayne's going to lose a little bit of ground here as that lap car up high is going to cause so much trouble to get around.
And you know how they've been keeping it out of the wall too. Haven't seen any of these drivers even have a tiny little livery paint scrape into the fence, which has been fantastic. Of course, these boots are a little bit fresher than what they did in the first couple of runs, but now I think it's all bets are off, isn't it? You'd have to say after Wayne's had to spend a good part of 20 laps just trying to chip away into Kevin's lead here, he's not going to want to not go for it. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see a couple of little late dives here.
I don't think it's time for those just yet, but he might try an attempt to get inside the head of Nerat there as they open up the gap just a little bit, 3 to 4 car lengths between Nerat and Wayne for the lead. But the 39 closing in once again. 5 fingers in the air, 5 laps to go as still this battle for the lead intensifies at Nashville. Who you got? Do you got Kevin Nerat or Ryan Wayne? I've got to say this is an absolute banger of a finish.
I mean, either one of these drivers win it. That's absolutely fantastic. I mean, sorry, Logan Gill. I like Logan Gill, but it's going to spice up the championship a little bit more when Logan Gill doesn't win another one. He will come home in that P3 position and also get the most laps led. But give it to any of these two gladiators, Centaurians here. There's some fantastic racing. You know, it's
some great racing here.
Yeah,
as Wayne.
Go ahead.
Yeah, look at Wayne. He's just getting inside those mirrors of Nerat, and that's exactly what you want to do, especially if you want to get up to the lead with a handful of laps left to go.
Exactly. As I said, psychological games at this point too, isn't it? You got to do that. Kevin's, of course, doesn't want to throw this race lead away. He's been fighting here to fight tooth and nail, remember, for Logan Gill for so many laps, just to try to get a couple of laps led. And then Wayne eventually, Wayne took it away from him last time. He's not going to want Wayne to take it away from him again. Get down to 3 to go, my friend. This is definitely going to be interesting. I'm glad that these two are at it tooth and nail on the dying stages of this race to really spice things up.
Exactly. Did you see any sparks coming out of the back of Wayne there? Coming off a turn, going into turn 1. It looked like there's some sort of sparks there as he bottomed out a little bit.
Might be, yeah. Sometimes you see it on some of these tracks as well, too, with setups that they have. I think it was on Daytona or something like that, too, or some of the cars or trucks or something. They're just sparks flying absolutely everywhere, depending on the setups. I think it's from the front fender on the left-hand side, generally. But these are different animals. This is one thing to catch, which he's done now for 6 laps, isn't it? It's another thing to overtake.
Yeah, this track is just tough to overtake, and you really got to be methodical with your overtakes. But Wayne losing ground here as they come off of turn 4. Oh, never mind. Wayne's closing in it side by side. White flag is out. 1 lap to go as Nerat is trying to hold on to that lead that he so worked his way for in the middle part of the race. But Ryan Wayne is thirsty for redemption here at Nashville. Nerat shuts the foot down. A smack in the wall by Ryan Wayne. Could that have been the race loser right there as Nerat's going to go low, Wayne's going to go high. They've got a lap car ahead of them, but I don't think it's going to cause any sort of issue. Checkered flag is out. Give the win to the Meats and the 47 of Kevin Nerat. He's your winner over Ryan Wayne.
What a great drive there. Absolutely. Had to hold off that late pressure on that one. And I'd have to say that was one in that strategy call there from Kevin. Well, not just from his defensive driving there as well, but it was one in the undercut of that pit stop before. We said that's where the pit stops are going to make the big difference here. And Ryan really had to work to make up that couple of second loss that he had once he came out of the pit lane, doesn't it? And and he tried his absolute best, wasn't quite enough. Kevy holds off, gets the race win.
Dawson Guzik popping in the chat saying Wayne looks like he has saved his tires better. And I got to agree with that. He did a great job of saving the tires, trying to catch up to the race leader. But unfortunately, it was too little too late. And I think that wall smack in turn 2 kind of cost Ryan Wayne the win. Here's your podium finishers. It's Kevin Nerat, your winner, followed by Ryan Wayne and Logan Gill as Nerat burns it down.
Yeah, Logan Gill's never really out of anything at the moment. Probably still be leading the championship going into this one, but what a fantastic drive. Now, mate, I can't go to Arby's. Don't tease me, Kevin. How many times have I told you this? I'm going to make you bring an Arby's into Australia as we're going to get our results up for what a fantastic crack of a race here in Nashville.
Yeah, an absolute banger of a race as Kevin Nerat, your race winner here tonight. Ryan Wayne finishing off in second place, Logan Gill in third. Then you go to Jason McCook, Todd Slauson, Brad Compton, Andrew Floyd, Jay Trocchi, Brandon Biggs, and Michael Cole rounding out your top 5, Dean.
Moving over to further on, you got Brad Compton finishing that P6 position with Andrew Floyd. Jay Trocchi in the PA position there, Brandon Briggs and Michael Cole. John Edwards, late charger, speed through there, unfortunately, after that pit stop there, put him down to outside the top 10 of P11 with Frank Ranger, James Byrne, Joshua Weiss, Gauzen Gusek, Zach Baker, Wesley Beasley, and Kenneth didn't start the race, unfortunately.
So we've seen 155 laps of racing. Let's talk to the players here in this race. Let's start off with our winner, Kevin Nerat, who I think is awaiting our interview here.
Yes, sir. I'll drag him in.
All right, it's bringing Kevin Nerat. Kevin, congratulations. A fantastic win from you. And it seems like at the end of the runs you were leading, you always had a hard charge from Ryan Wayne, and you were able to keep him behind him at least this time for the win. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks a lot. Long time coming. Super happy to pull a win out here tonight. Yeah, Ryan Wayne, I didn't know if I'd be able to hold him off there at the end. He was just better on the long run. I kind of used my stuff up, but had just enough.
One thing that Dean and I were talking about here in the booth is the undercut. Nobody was using it. It took you to the last pit stop to utilize the undercut. Was this something that you were thinking about throughout the race, watching Logan Gill take advantage of it?
Yeah, it was mainly Logan Gill, and I was like faster than him, but I couldn't get around him cleanly. So that last stop, I said I was going to do the undercut, especially when the 39 got around me. I just needed clean air. That was my thing. So really, that was just my strategy last stop, and it paid off.
Well, you got pole, you got the win. Unfortunately, didn't get the fastest lap, got nipped in that by Logan Gill, but either way, successful run here at Nashville Superspeedway. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that's your winner, Kevin Nerat. And we'll send it over to Dean, who has our second place driver.
Oh, you got it. The interview's my You're welcome to the network. That's fine. I'll leave it to you. My friend, Mr. Jeremy, and I'll grab Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Ryan Wayne. Ryan, so close, yet so far away. You almost had Kevin there, but as Dean and I were talking, it seemed like catching the leader was one thing, but passing is at a premium here.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
And we thought there at the last lap, okay, you were side by side, but it seemed like that wall slap is what did you in there coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I knew my best way to get around that 47 of Kevin Nerat was to get to his inside, and he did a good job blocking that off going in. And I had to make a run on the outside, and just that little wall contact and getting tight as well in turn 3 kind of added my chances right there.
Well, either way, Kevin, in something that Dean and I were talking about in the booth, Kevin said, hey, you seem like you have a great long run car. And the longer that we went into this green flag run, it seemed like the better your Toyota got.
Yeah, I was really putting a lot of emphasis on the long green flag runs. I could definitely tell that right front tire was going to be at a premium here. It was very hard to get the car to be loose on a long green flag run. So just trying to back up the corner as best as I could, and was able to get enough momentum on exit. And that's how I was able to stay when that long green flag run.
Well, either way, positions up from the grid. We saw that also up there. It's still a fantastic race because, coming from the middle of the pack and racing with those guys and then contending for the win, that's got to feel at least somewhat good.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the effort tonight. I just want to say congrats to Kevin Nerat. He made an excellent job blocking for the race lead and just had a great battle. And that's all you can really say. I'm very happy with the P2, though, to come out for the night.
As you say, yeah, hold your head up high because that was an absolute fantastic. There were times where you were coming up from 2 seconds behind and, taking your way to the lead. So you really had a great race car. Congratulations on such a great run tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's Ryan Wayne, your second place finisher. And let's go over to our points leader who finishes off in third. It is the number 12 of Logan Gill. And Logan, first of all, you led the most laps. You had the fastest lap of the race, but just fell short right there trying to get a win in the pocketbook.
Yeah, I feel like I was struggling all after that second pit stop. I don't know what happened with the car, what happened with me. I was struggling a lot. Just kept getting slower and slower, I feel like. And then on top of that, I just feel like I had I don't know if you want to call it a bounty. I had a red dot on my head that night. I don't know. Wasn't the happiest with the other guys around me for a while. I know they probably weren't either, but I feel like I got ran really hard tonight. So.
Yeah.
Well, it appeared to us in the boat that you're running a little loose between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Is that your normal style, or was it just the way the car was set up tonight?
Honestly, I was trying to get it to, move around a lot, and it wouldn't. I've ran this track one time before in a league race, and I was really fast. It was a different setup. I just feel like the car tonight was way too tight, and I mean way too tight. You couldn't move it around. You couldn't really run 2 lanes. You could, and then the bottom car couldn't go nowhere because he'd slide up. I just feel like it was really just too tight all night for me. Even before the first stops, I feel like it was just too tight. Couldn't really go nowhere.
Well, either way, still coming out with the points lead heading into the next round. Your thoughts, first of all, of course, also gaining 6 positions. That doesn't have to hurt either.
Wait, did I get 6 positions for where I started?
Yeah.
6 positions from when you started on the grid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Up 6.
That's not bad. Yeah, I didn't practice at all coming into this race, which is probably my big mistake. I didn't have any practice for about 8 months. I haven't ran this track, so it's not too bad. I know some guys got tangled up early in the race. I almost did, I think, once or twice. But yeah, we'll go on to next week and try to clutch up the championship with 2 races left. I'm feeling really good about the next 2 races, so see how they go.
Oh, that's always dangerous words for the rest of the competition. Logan Gill, your 3rd place finisher. Congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Of course, that's
and of course,
Logan Gill
Dean.
Well. Yes, sir. Well, Logan Gill, of course, who just missed out on
Dean, we got the
truck championship on the Tuesday night series as well, too, where he couldn't make it because of work commitments, I think it was. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dean, we've got the new point standings out here. Logan Gill now leads over 156 points by Brad Compton. So going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out next time out. And I've got to say, for my first time doing this series, this was an absolute blast.
Yeah, absolutely crack up. Welcome to have you. Of course, Jeremy, first time work with you. I was a professional. That's what I was told, that you were a professional there from the boss man, Jim. And obviously you can clearly hear you've been doing this a long time, my friend, with lots of experience. A perfect announcer voice, you'd have to say, and your knowledge, of course, of motorsports backs that up as well too. As you can see the schedule, as we're done with the Music City, my friend, we're heading over to Charlotte, and then of course, Lady, the Darlington Stripe, isn't it, for the final short track race of the season.
Yeah, going to be a lot of blast. And Dean, I cannot wait to work with you next time out in the Queen City here on MotorMouth Broadcasting. So for myself and Dean hopped in, who was doing so good, also making us look and sound so good. My name is Jeremy Scott. Thanks for joining us. So remember to keep it pointed forward, keep between the ditches, and always keep it greasy side down. We'll see you next time out here on MotorMouth Broadcasting.